Beep beep, what is up ninjas? My name is Emerald and today we're going to be discussing the third most important thing in your song, in your EDM song, and that is the build-up. The build-up is the hype man and the wingman for the drop, guys. The wingman's going to make the drop look good. He's going to plant the seed so the drop can get the lay. He's going to take one for the team, and in order to do that, guys, you got to stop making these big mistakes, and you got to let your build-up actually accentuate your drop. So when the build-up comes, we're about to go see Little John. Like everyone getting lit as fuck. Fuck yeah, bro. Handle, dog. Go. What happened? What the fuck? Fuck you, Tyler. It doesn't sound like the buildup was bigger than the drop. It sounds like the buildup made the drop sound even bigger. So today we're going to be discussing mistakes producers are making on their buildups, guys. Now, there is always going to be an alert. Some of these things might work in some music and it might not work in others. And it's up to you to decide whether you want to have it or not. As long as you know what you're doing, that is the important thing. So let's get started with this video. Mistake number one, guys, is having too much bass in your build-up. Now remember, the build-up is the wingman, so it has to make the drop look good. It can't look as good as the drop, or else the wingman's not gonna look sexy. And one of the huge mistakes I see is that you have this much bass and then you have this much bass on the drop. And bass has a lot of energy, and you can think of it as a power. The more you have of it, the more power you have. So if you wanna make the drop seem bigger, why are you gonna have bass at the same level? There's no change in energy. Why wouldn't the build-up kind of reduce in bass, and then the moment you get to the drop, all of a sudden, boom, the bass hits you straight on. Now I'm gonna give you guys an example of a little thing I made here so that you guys can see the difference with no bass and with bass on the build-up.
How do you know how you will feel when everything changes? Know you read. Oh, I know. Oh, I know.
The second mistake is more of a beginnerish kind of newbie move, but that is going to be not automating your leads. Now, one of the biggest problems again is that the buildup needs to make the drop sound good. So if the buildup has your leads there, you don't want to make them be the leads from the drop. You kind of want to make them a little bit less weaker with, you know, EQ automation, so that it kind of sounds like it's coming in, and then when the drop happens, you slowly work into it. So automating leads with a simple high cut, a simple low pass filter, just opening that up, guys, is enough to get it to sound good. And you see this a lot in progressive house, you see this a lot in just music in general when you're working to the build-up. So mistake I see that a lot of people make as well, and again, this one is more going to be based on, like, well, it's more subjective, is that if you have a breakdown that is melodic and a drop that is all about that there's no melodic content, it has nothing to do with the break. In order to bridge the gap between the break and the drop, the buildup will need to have the drop kind of teased in there. So as you're approaching that buildup, you want to have the drop kind of start to sound. You hear it coming, so that when the drop happens, well, now we get to hear it in its glory and we saw it coming, rather than all of a sudden it's like, hey baby, one more time in the breakdown.
Turn it up loud, book the decibel. Girl, let my clink, say me have a
third mistake a lot of people make as well is that when they're making tropical house or when they're making a genre that's different than big room and the mainstream festival EDM, they think that they need to have a damn snare build-up on the build-up, when in reality it just ruins the vibes of your song. If you're making a very melodic song, guys, that's more pop-ish, a song that's more house-ish, where you don't really need that, then why have it? You're just trying to force something anthemic on something that is pop, that is deep house. So here are some examples of people that transition from the break to the build to the drop in different ways.
No promises.
So don't feel like you need to have that snare build up and that uplifter all the damn time, guys. Keep it smooth if that's the style of song you're going for. And let's move on to the next mistake. The fifth mistake and last mistake, guys, is that you are just not automating enough. Now, I wrote a blog article over at Evil Sounds. If you guys want to check it out, I'll make sure to leave it in the description link down below, on things you could automate on a build up to make it sound better. And one of the things I see is that a lot of people, they just put the effects, they put the snare builds, they put everything, and then it just doesn't sound right. It sounds very stagnant, like it sounds like a bunch of loops put together. So if you want to make those loops sound good together, you want to make them sound great, make sure to read that article on things you could automate. But just to give you guys a few kind of tips here, you can automate stuff like the reverb. You can slowly automate reverb on the master channel to kind of make it sound not so strong but a little bit more atmospheric, so that when the drop comes it sounds even better. You can reduce the stereo image as you're going from the start of the build-up up to the end of the build-up to the drop, like Maurice West suggested in one of his videos. And I'm not gonna lie, I got it from this guy and I'm giving him credit. You can check it out if you want to in the blog. I link his video there. Automation of volume, guys. Another thing too is the volume of the build-ups cannot be louder than the drop itself. So automation is key here. You can automate the volume down as you approach the drop. That way when you go back to the drop here, it's boom, straight up, and all of a sudden the energy comes back and it just sounds even bigger. So make sure to check out the blog article, guys. But that's gonna be the end of the video. I hope these suggestions kind of help you. And if you're making any of these mistakes, make sure to fix them. It's not that hard to fix them. It's a very simple kind of automation that you have to do most of the time. And just make sure that your buildup is not louder than your drop, like many people have. And you can kind of see on your SoundCloud link, if this shit is bigger than your drop, like the sausage, you know, then there's a problem there. Alright guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys tomorrow for a brand new one. You guys take care, and if you want to support the channel, Evil Sounds, and if you want to follow me on Instagram so you can see shit while you poop that I post up, then you know where to follow me at Semerald Music. You guys take care, and you guys have an amazing day.